Non-Americans have read it. What do you think of Joe Biden? We don't think about him. That already sounds like an improvement. I would 100% settle for 4 completely unremarkable years, just so we don't lose any more fucking ground. It's embarrassing. Satellites are pointing their mirrors back out into space when they fly over us because the second-hand cringe is just too much. Here in Britain people talk about him a lot. Let's not pretend the world doesn't care about American politics. Not in Italy? We just at maximum observe. Another Italian here. American politics is a daily subject of conversation for me and my friends. Too old. American politicians are too old. One of the reasons why the Soviet Union stagnated was when all the top politicians were averaging 70 to 80 years old. It's not that I think old people are bad, but that more opportunities should be given to younger people. I agree with you. Most people here in the US will say that they want someone with plenty of experience, this why they're all so old. And it is that, but also the longer you work as a politician, the more connections you make. You need a lot of support to run for president, especially if you're in one of our 2 major parties. Most presidential candidates are usually a senator or a governor or something with some sort of history, which is why Trump was so unusual, since he wasn't a politician. But I do believe we need some new young blood in government, someone who can connect with the younger crowd and isn't afraid of change. Over 300 million people in America, and Biden's the best you could find. I cannot for the life of me understand how they ended up in this position. If so many people have been determined to get Trump out of office since day one, you'd think they'd have figured out a better plan than Biden. Citizens United, man. The US always had its issues, but that court decision accelerated everything that was already happening. From New Zealand, seems like he would be a perfectly fine middle-of-the-road president, won't go down as one of the greats but probably won't tear down the country. Overall competent and may make some small improvements that will probably scare one side as being too socialist and anger the other for not going far enough. I feel like you must have had to read a fair amount about our politics to come up with such a cohesive answer. You poor soul. As an American, this is 100% my thought on him too, and I'm okay with that. I like to think of it as a car drifting off the road, a couple tires are in the dirt, but if we jerk the steering wheel the other way, the car will flip/spin out. Gotta be a gentle, controlled correction to center, then you can go from there. I don't like tuna. I wouldn't love a tuna sandwich, but it's much better than a rat poison sandwich. For reference, stolen from an Amir Blumenfield tweet. Mostly a target of bad faith criticism. If Biden picking Kamala Harris is supposedly a deal breaker to you, guess what? You were never going to like Biden in the first place. If it had been insert VP pick here, you would have hated him for the 1990 crime bill or whatever. Beyond that, something of a stock politician, but I do enjoy him showing that Redditors don't vote. Biden is center-right at most. It's kinda funny seeing people screaming about him being socialist. If the Democrats ever actually got in a real socialist candidate, Americans' heads would explode. I would prefer a decomposing squirrel over Trump. Having said that, Biden seems like a good consensus candidate, who is acceptable to the more left wing of the country and the kind of higher-educated former Republicans who are leaving the party in droves. You can't please all, but he seems to please enough people. Personally, I am not overtly enthusiastic about Biden, but that's a good thing. Politics is supposed to be boring, and about forming consensus.
Thank you for watching.